compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231. The notice requirements have been satisfied. Meeting dates of the year are listed in the annual agenda. Copies are sent to the Record, Suburban Night, and Northern Valley Press, posted on the bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center. The notice of the special budget meeting, resolution 24-65, has been sent to the Record, Suburban Night, and Northern Valley News. Has been posted on the bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center and Borough website. Public comment is the first item. A total of 15 minutes have been allocated for this purpose. Citizens are welcome to address the mayor and council on any governmental item of concern to them, whether or not it is scheduled on the agenda below. Citizens must give their names and addresses when recognized to speak. Large groups are urged to select someone to represent them. Public is advised that these meetings are recorded and are subject to the Open Public Record Act. Omar, are there any members of the public in the chamber here in the meeting room?
I see no hands, man.
Okay, are there any members of the public online?
I see no hands.
Okay, so we're going to close the public comment section and go right into departmental budget reviews, starting with the clerk's numbers.
Okay. Do you need me to sit over here or? Can I do it
I think
here?
you look
They're fine.
just fine right there.
Okay. So, for the clerk's office, our budget pretty much, remains the same outside of our elections, budget line item. That's due to the printing of the ballots because it's a presidential election that's coming up. And also, we also have, this upcoming 2024, the, county committee elections. So, that is the reason for the increase in that line.
That makes like extra printing each day.
Yes.
For another year.
Yes.
And is that again by law? So like, for instance, the county committee packets,
Yes.
is that by law we have to do that, or why we can't email that to people?
But no, this is the printing of the ballots, the actual ballots that go.
Oh, just the balance. But,
Yes,
but like
yes.
when you do, like you always have printouts of like the full packet of stuff.
Yeah.
Can we not do that? And
Well,
I'm just trying to save trees.
I get that. It's available on the county clerk's website, that information. I do that more so as a courtesy to both committees, the Republican, county committee and also to the different.
I mean, unless, yeah, I don't know what you guys think. Again, I'm just.
Printing of what exactly?
So there are those very thick packets that you get that, you know, all the forms and everything,
Oh, for counting. Yeah.
for anything, for any of the elections. What I'm saying is, can we just have, again, if people want to do it, they can do it. But it just saves us trees.
I mean, thank you to say that it's, probably legal requirement.
Well, if it's legal, of course.
I can't imagine the county wanting to do anything, that they don't want to. So.
I think we just have to try. Again, that's, we have the budget books.
But I don't know.
To
At
try
the
to-
municipal level where.
Right.
Well, on the municipal level, it's, again, it's more so a courtesy.
Right, so let's just do this. If it's not legal, a legal requirement, I agree with Councilman Menon. Let's just not print out all of them, and then, of course, if people need it, you link them to it. If they say, I don't have a computer, we can do it, but it's more the exception than the rule.
I to go back to that point about computer, the chairperson for the Republican County, for Tenafly, I believe she doesn't have a computer. So, that's, to keep things on a even level, I have knowledgeable practice with both chairs.
If they come in and request, which is.
So you're talking about the petition,
Yes, that's right.
is it, copies of the petition, or not the ballots?
Not the ballot, no.
That's the ballot.
That I think is just a courtesy.
Yeah, that's just
You
a
know,
courtesy.
Sorry.
So let's just try to do it. Again, save a tree, less paper, everybody wins.
What's it advertised? I'm not sure that'll
Advertising?
impact much more.
So advertising is,
Remember in 2020, we did electronic petitions, or was that 21?
that was 2020.
Was it-
Is that ever,
That was
is
COVID, yes.
that ever came back
I can reach out to the county to see where they are.
or state?
Well-
I think the state did that one.
It was a state mandate, but, they had the connection.
They let the committee stay.
They want to. But to go back to the advertising, budget.
Oh, okay, good, good.
So the advertising budget, that is when, there's an ordinance or any, notices that need to be printed in a newspaper required by law. And, that line item allows me to be able to publish it with a burner record.
Perfect.
So, I noticed, when you said that the, elections was increased, but I saw the, admin recommendation back to 7,500. What that, and so, I mean, should we go up to 9,000 because it's presidential?
Yeah.
Ah, so you got called out. You got it.
It's every 4 years.
The elections,
Yeah.
it's in the election.
Where did you
So
do the
David-
last one?
So Dave,
That's
I would
gonna change.
suggest,
Right?
That there's no change.
return it to 9,000. Because there may be additional hours, like additional costs.
Historically, we spent 7,500.
Right.
Yeah, so on first brush, we were going back to where we were and allowing the department to justify.
Okay. All right.
So what is, well, 2020. This is for anything?
Yes. So there's a
That's
book
right.
that's.
That's right.
Yes, it's possible from the county. Pass it through to the.
course.
Dollar.
All right, so with that,
Reimbursed by the
Yes.
county.
yeah, so with that, we'll raise it back.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
What happens, so if we get reimbursed by the county? So we see the negative here, where's the positive? Is it in the revenues page?
We're getting reimbursed for the entire cost of the printing,
Yes.
so how does that run?
So sometimes we conjure it back into the line.
So you go into the line with it, so it doesn't show up anywhere.
It would
It ultimately
just
won't
be
show
spent
up.
out and then you'd be generating a surplus.
Okay,
But if we know, so if it's a guarantee that the government pays us back for it.
You're having, so going up to the 9,000 is not gonna hurt you.
But my point is, shouldn't we just take out the 9,000 altogether if we know we're getting reimbursed?
You
Yeah.
don't know when, and if it comes in after the budget is done, we put it into miscellaneous revenue not
it has
anticipated.
to be in the budget for the money to be appropriated for us to spend it, and then it gets
Then get
reimbursed at a later date.
So it
No,
could conjure back or it
It
could
just
go.
goes into that abyss
No.
of surplus.
Well,
Well, that's not, that's important, the
no,
surplus.
we can draw it back to the line, but you can't, you wouldn't be able to expend the 9,000 without the
Yeah.
appropriation.
It's conjured back or if it comes in after the year, it goes into surplus not anticipated. Revenue not anticipated.
Okay. Good. Any other questions? I'm good with it. Well done. Sorry to not ask you really hard questions.
That was
We've
really
got a
fast.
couple of-
Okay, how about, with help?
Hold on, hold on.
Mr. Mayor, do you have any questions?
Agreed.
Do you have any questions for Omar?
I see where.
I'm gonna ask one question about what we just talked about, all right? What, how does it work? I know, I'm just looking at the compensation line of a couple of employees here, and how does it dealt with, like, are the receptionist, the assistant, anybody in a non-represented, a bargaining unit or what? Like your wages are flat year over year, so with Jean's and Siobhan's,
I should go up and speak to this.
go ahead.
So they're all out of contract.
All right, everybody, hold on, let's
They're
focus
all
on,
out of contract. So we have to leave it flat unless somebody's getting longevity during the year. And then we are capturing this in a reserve line later in the budget. That's how you can do it. Yeah.
So say that again.
Okay.
I understand, I heard what you said, and I was interested in those last two lines of the salary.
Okay. So when everybody's out of contract, or some of these individuals are not represented, what we do is we keep the budget flat and we estimate an amount in the payroll reserve line that we anticipate will be our potential increases.
have you done that already?
Yes,
So let's just pick a number. Let's say the final contract is 2%. You've already got that money set aside for all these employees,
yes,
including Omar. Or is he not represented at all?
he's not represented.
Right.
Well, it's estimated right now. As we get closer to the end,
The
I
question
think-
is, do you have, in that whole number, you have
I have,
And you have a reserve for the non-represented.
right, what I believe to be the reserve now. As we get towards the end of this, closer to when we're gonna adopt, some of these numbers could be tweaked when I look at it with the auditor. But it's close to whatever it's gonna be.
So you have a reserve for all the employees on this page.
I have a reserve for all employees out of contract that were non-represented, yes.
For the entire borough.
Yeah,
No, I'm just talking about the clerk's office. So for Omar and all these people, I just want to be clear, everyone's
Yes.
included. Okay. All right.
The only, and I was gonna ask this question. It's a huge payroll adjustment.
and we need it.
Yeah, but we're all sitting around, and I'll just speak for myself. We're all sitting around feeling good with ourselves that our numbers are in line. And you're actually increasing the salaries by 3 full percentage. So
Yeah, that sounds right.
How much is the reserve number?
$400,000.
Yeah. And that may have to go up a little.
So some of that
Just so you know.
discussion we may want to have in the
Close,
closed session
yeah.
at 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
Because you're in public session right now and
Well, because
you don't want to tip your hand to those that were in collective bargaining.
Mhm.
Well, not for that anyway, so that was pretty easy.
okay.
Okay, we can do that.
But yeah, we should wait.
Can I ask a question?
What?
Okay, so Omar, I know that you have been the one who's updated the website with different messages and stuff. Did I miss in here? Is the website under your purview? Is that a cost that
That comes out of it.
that comes out of Apple? Okay, so I guess then right now it's just we have a situation where when things need to be updated, Omar's the one that's contacted, and I want to know if maybe that's going to be considered as a process issue when we are budgeting for website, funding. Is that still going to be the understanding? Like, so for example, the mayor and I were talking about promoting the composting program, and it was like, okay, it's Omar who does it, but should it be a different person or a different company? Like, is it through
I
the
don't want to speak, but he delegates also to Genie.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I have, Jeannie and Kara, my office, delegate that has.
So this is still the way to do it, we'll just, with whatever we appropriate for the website, it'll still go to you.
I mean, unless Omar or someone else thinks there's an issue. Seems to be
Okay.
working, but never know.
So when we started the work on the website, there was nobody in the borough that could handle that. And Omar was on all the calls with us. So Omar, this isn't one of his, part of his job description. He took it on as an outside thing, for his office. But it was housed in the borough administrator's department, because we thought the responsibility should lie with the borough administrator. But at this point, it's up to the borough administrator to decide, if that still should be ongoing. But just to let others know.
Or
that
should it
that
be
was-
housed in the clerk?
But no, I mean, right now, it's housed in it was originally housed in the clerk's department,
Oh,
moved to the admin's department. And then, but the question, and with the clerk having responsibility over this, but it was kind of an unfunded responsibility. For this, so to speak, yeah.
So the money that we paid for the website is out of the admin, but the function is performed in the clerk's office. So if you ever wanted to move, we could move that line item into the clerk's office and get paid out of the clerk's office, or it could remain in the admin office, but the duty is performed.
Right. And also,
I would think you go either way.
Yeah.
You may want to leave and discuss in the administrator's office and so because it could be a time.
Doesn't matter, so.
Yeah, it could be.
We're not making
Yes,
any-
but I'm just saying,
Wait a minute.
you're talking about the function and the
There could be
line.
a time in the
And why
future
is
where
it-
that can still be different. Like expense for the website.
right, and a certain amount of that does get delegated out to the other departments, so like
Right.
DPW, they have somebody there that does it, but some of the other departments will ask.
Now, is there any stipend or any salary considerations associated for any of your staff with the website?
Yeah.
Oh.
And apologies for being late, question was, you're talking about $400,000 payroll adjustment.
Let's do it.
Understood, but that's what this is.
Exactly.
All right, that was my only question.
Any other questions for the clerk's office? Omar, anything you want to say?
No, first office has been doing a very excellent job in my estimation, pretty much most face the borough, and, we aim to, serve residents there in the borough, and I think we've been doing a very good job.
I agree.
When you do over requests, the rate is that, first of all, I'm guessing that now, the number of over requests have come down. Compared to like the previous year.
Well, over it pretty much remained the same throughout my tenure here. It's about maybe throughout per year on average about 300 overs. I would, yeah, per year.
Oh, per year.
So,
I don't know how busy you guys are.
I don't know if you're be able to take care of that. But I would say a good 90% of the open requests I received are building department related. So they're looking for open permits, closed permits. Sometimes you may sneak in there from the tax assessor's office looking for the property records card, and every so often a list of the taxes paid on the property. And then, of course, there's the outlier where you have a request they're looking for, certain information, and have to do more of a deep dive and answer those requests.
Any other questions for the clerk's office? All right, wonderful. Thank you, Omar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the administration.
Okay, I have, put together a summary for you by just go down real quickly. Some of the goals, for the Department of Administration. One, I would like to develop a performance management system, that would provide strategic goals, efficiencies, tracking, and enhancing the public online capabilities, and seamlessly provide services that enhance citizen engagement. I've been looking at a couple of different platforms that we're getting some demonstrations on, some pricing. I do have a placeholder number in the budget that I think is a reasonable number. Right now,
That's a 30,000.
yes, that would be a combination of something for tracking of resources as well as this performance management. Right now, we have a lot of silos that are performing the missions within the departments, and the reporting up there's not an electronic version of being able to have a dashboard. The goal would be is to have all of this reporting sort of visually ready for the governing body and for administration to have a snapshot at any point in time as to where we are proceeding with our goals. And are we on track, off track, under budget, over budget? And rather than having council have to wait and ask at a meeting, what's the update on this? There will be certain information that would be pulled up into that. That would give you a visual, and then you would hover over it and you can drill down into details. If you want to drill into the weeds of everything, it would be there as well. So that you could find some of this stuff and then ask me pointing questions as to what information you need. So I would just ask for that consideration to be put into the budget, and then as we dive into the various platforms, we'll roll that out as what the options would be and what differences could be with different platforms. The next would be, and in that is going to be a priority placed on tracking the data on resident requests, which will also inform the administration and governing body on investing in municipal services, facilities, and programs, adapting to the data observed. So if we're not having a measurement tool and constantly seeing what we are, we're sort of shooting in the dark as to what we're providing and where we're investing. Getting to human resources is that
Before we get to the first two items,
yes.
you're thinking standalone programs, and applications, or number two, a GIS.
Well, a couple of the programs that we're looking at would be moving everything to one platform or at least feeding into that platform. And really, we're gonna be getting a listing out and the cost of all of the various software programs that everybody is using. Some are gonna be statutorily or regulatorily required. Some could be moved out of silos and put in like pet licensing. For example, where that contract is up, that hasn't been performing as well as Omar would like it to be. So this would be a solution to that we did. Hopefully we'll be able to, the system will get files and data inputted from Edmunds, our financial management system, so we can get a budget snapshot to see where the coming from. But yeah, so we incorporate all of that in GIS tracking. One of the platforms is called GovPilot. They have over 200 modules that you can participate in. Some of them are segmented a little bit too narrow so that you add on a bunch of modules. So we'll talk with them if that's the solution. There's also clear point strategies and ISIO that we're taking a look at, plus with Civic Plus. Civic Plus does have some modules. They haven't been as responsive, I think, that as Omar would like. So we're reaching out to them to see if there was some reason, whether it makes sense to expand on that or just have Civic Plus simply do the website boosting. So a lot of this would be on the back end of the website, and be user friendly. People would click in and really doesn't matter to them what platform we're pressing.
So just if for some reason we decide that Civic Plus is not viable, and we want to scrap it, would you suggest scrapping it, or would you suggest?
I think for the website hosting, I think we would keep it. We just invested in that, and there's been a lot of training and orientation, and I think Omar and his staff have it down to a pretty good science. They've given me access to it, so I just have to make sure I'm not disrupting something that gets hosted. So I'm very careful with that, so I don't cause Omar to get gray hair. So getting into the human resources function.
Sorry, where are you going?
So Adam, you go first, and I'll go.
Just one more, if we could work into, you mentioned a number of things we could do with this software. The one that I know you and I have spoken about is the scheduling of the candleless room.
Yes.
Seems to be very
That would be
popular.
part of it.
So
So we ultimately, I mean, we want to have, our parks or whatever.
yeah, Park Student, that's very-
All of that could be, fees, they can pay fees on this platform.
that'd be great.
So, I know Parks and Recs has a system, so we need to see what they need from that system and could they move over to another system. Construction and code enforcement just now, I think, went live Monday for the Mitchell Humphreys software. So obviously, we're not going to take all of that investment in training that they just did and say we're going to kick that to the code and do something new. It would be taking that and feeding that data into this and not duplicating the cost or wasting that.
So my comment, because we were talking about the website, Julie mentioned it a minute ago. We put an updated link to composting there. And one of the things, so I went on there to search for it. It was there, but I really couldn't find it. And so my point is what we're updating the website, or if anyone's making suggestions to put on the website, whatever's going on. We have to always think about it in terms of, we know too much. Like I know who's handling composting. 99.9% of the residents have no clue, nor do they care, nor do they want to care. They want to go to maybe Public Works and then see composting in alphabetical order, because logically alphabetical order is where things. So we always have to remember that with the website, is that nobody knows what we know, so therefore it has to be written in a way that they can find it very, very easily. Anyway, that's my monologue. Go ahead.
Can I ask a different
Sure.
question, or I'm sorry, you were going back to go to human resources.
Yeah.
But I'll wait till after.
Yeah.
So my question had to do with, I just had seen under the area where you talk about the engineering services and the engineering professional fee. I was just curious, why stormwater expenses were separate from engineering? And why are they separate? What are they?
Were we tracking it separately, Susan? or-
We were tracking it, so engineer said to put it, I think it was 35,000.
Yeah,
35,000,
Stormwater expense.
yeah, separate.
And what is that made of, the stormwater?
what is that?
Do we ever use it?
Is that what he's like doing the
Last year.
culvert mapping? Is that like, what
We
is
use
it?
it.
So-
You guys like.
That's 11.
So Julie just brought up the culvert mapping. Okay, that's $150,000 project. And Andy has recommended that we start, doing that at about $50,000 a year. I know that stormwater is becoming, or has become a more and more major issue.
So should that be 50? Like, is this that? Like, I just didn't know what this is.
Andy's gonna make a presentation, he's gonna discuss, one of the things he's gonna discuss tonight. So we can certainly, add it to it later, once the council has an opportunity to talk about it.
We hadn't used any in 2023. We had used all of it in 2022. So that's why I was asking.
Okay, so we might have to ask Andy if all the bills have been submitted for 2023 as well.
Okay.
Did you skip from page 6 to 11? I'm curious.
You gotta keep up, man.
You're welcome to go back, we can go, but we
We
can
jump
go back.
back.
It's a 14% increase, I'm curious.
You're welcome to ask the question.
Page 6 has a 14% overall increase, correct?
For the administration?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also combining or eliminating the expense.
Of HR. So you gotta go a couple pages afterwards.
Yeah,
We had, in the past, we've had separate people, we combined the two. So if you take the HR budget, which is at 0 right now, the 180, it's,
Yeah, it was the net savings of 40 rather than net increase.
I calculate it to be like flat.
Yeah, it would be flat. So it's a net increase in the administration department. 30 of that 40 is for the performance management solution.
So you're gonna have 30 to that and 40 to this budget as it relates to overall
Yes.
HR
And
expenses.
then take out
And that'll eliminate 80 on the other side.
Yes.
So it's a net. Thanks.
And that's before you include the fact that the HR software doesn't, get paid pension benefits, healthcare,
Fact.
which,
And on the HR function, why that is part of one of the solutions that we're looking at is the entire HR process is 100% paper and a sea of paper with that. It's a fact of, we have departments keeping their own personnel files, which really gives them some advantage. There should be one file. The exception with that is the police department for a number of reasons. The police need to have their personnel files separately. But right now, DPW keeps all of their personnel files there and it's not centrally located. And, if we face litigation or EPL things in the future, we need to have a reliable source of here's the official one personnel file. We request a lot of the mundane.
It's supportive of all of it. No question.
So, if we do this electronically, that's going to save on staff resources, time plus trees. So that would be there would be the expense of the $30,000, but then there would be an annual cost, and that's where we'll delve into which system is the best system to get us there. On the human resources side, there's it's called formula that we're looking at, but it's not the only one we're looking at. And then that would also, in theory, take the human resources office physically, that's down the other end of the hall, and it's filing and storage and stuff, and that would make that available to whatever physical.
you're getting rid of all the paper.
And get rid of all.
Yeah.
Take a look at one more, I don't know HR systems whatsoever, but take a look at one called Trackstar.
Okay,
That's one that I just got introduced to.
okay.
The thing that I like, and again, I bet all these do the same thing. And it's included, so nothing like it's free, but my favorite, my day job is there's learning modules. If you could learn a language or this, that. I think that'd be a cool value add for 160 employees. If
Right.
there's cool trainings.
Yeah, what they
It'll
call
also
that,
do
we're not,
payroll.
That,
It'll also do payroll and everything else.
I don't know about payroll, but it's all point management.
yeah, so I'll definitely, take a look at it, because we're not married to this,
No.
these are just.
I just like the learning
Investigating. One of the things that we spend a lot of staff time on when we get to this in Susan's budget is she has a lot of FTEs that are really focusing on payroll and, taking a lot of that, interpreting contracts and time and attendance. So there may be a recommendation to move towards electronic timekeeping.
That would be
Yeah.
super cool.
And I know that gets, regarded as big brother looking, but it's really helps the employee as well as the employer
Yeah,
that we have it.
I mean, your point of litigation and everything else,
Right.
data access, data, immediacy and accuracy, no question whether this should all be on. Well,
And then that would be, you put all the rules from the contracts into this, and that really does a lot of the FTE work for Susan's department, and she can utilize some of those folks more efficiently. So that's what we get to that.
So I'm the liaison for the stigma-free committee.
Mhm.
There's no, I'm over at page 18, no problem with cutting that budget from 5 to 2 because we did have an activity, but it did not cost as close to 5. So I don't think we're gonna have a problem on that. If we needed more, we'd let you know, but I think 2 is fine. My question actually had to do with, because I want to make sure I can go back to the committee and tell them what I learned. If we skip ahead to page 22, there seems to be a stigma-free grant. And I just want to know if that we hadn't spent last year, is that grant still valid? Like, is that something that we could spend? I just wanted to kind of know when I'm going back and telling them.
Yeah, so I have to get information on that, and look at the grant requirements and the deadlines, and see what's been done.
Okay, great.
And then generally with all of these, sub areas like the stigma free, I basically just went and looked at the historical and, put a number in that was relative to that. So if there is something like the postage for the election, if there's something that you think we need to keep increased up to a higher amount, we can do that. But the recommendation is really purely based on the historical average.
So
We need to.
can I get back to the human resource time attendance thing?
Yes.
So I do that for a living for the county. Sucks. Wow. Because it should be easy here because there's only 4 contracts. I do 25.
Right, I was telling Dave today about what you do.
You have 25 contracts?
6 maybe.
We should.
Yeah.
And they're all different, all every single one. There are, to combine both their thoughts, there are programs out there, state contract and whatever, that do both human resources and time attendance. Some of them have growth for even clocking in with like whatever.
What's the county?
We're doing fingerprints on,
Do you have any performance management method?
not yet, or what, we're
What
just,
time and attendance system are you using?
right now, we are using Unicorn HRO on the fence about recommending them. For something this small, it would be great. For my job, it sucks. They're just not built, the county's just too complex. We pay a ton in custom modules, but yes, I contract for it. They don't make sense. The prime point, ADP was another really good one. They were in the running, but they couldn't handle our health benefit complexities. They're really good. They all have time management growth areas. They work with Chronos, the timekeepers. Their things are consistent, just simple Excel files. The pay codes is super clean. Like you said, it captures all the shift differentials for all the employees. The cost to shoot out. My system speaks with costs.
Is the ADP system also biometric?
So ADP is the timekeeping system. Okay. Or the payroll system. The pay Chronos, right, is a timekeeper system. So if you clock in on your computer or fingerprint or whatever you choose. That spits out a Excel file to ADP. It's like 8 hours regular, 8 hours OT, and it does all the employee number 10, right? Times his salary, times 8 hours, paying this.
And I know some organizations that have had some good results with this.
Chronos is the physical clock and the guys who make that software. Chronos is phenomenal.
Okay. And it also allows you to utilize it twice to clock in, but you have to do Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so we have employees who work on the golf course.
And there was a software called Time Trap which is a little bit more rudimentary, basically just clocking in.
It's a different world out there.
That could feed into Edmonds, but, you know,
Right.
we want to get the best scenario that we can.
And to save your whatever program you pick. The chief tells the company that runs costs, like, these codes to spit out, get the time sheet from every officer. Every week, clean file, no arguments. So it's the culture shock that gets everyone. And when we went with the sheriffs on the cost export. I did absolutely nothing but yell at captains. Who then got crap from the lieutenant sergeants. And we're like, no, captain's job, captain, you yell at your sergeants and lieutenants. You don't know how you operate, I don't care if you do it or not, it's on you. And if they get it wrong, they get underpaid, overpaid, it's on them.
What about Pride Plate? Because I've been hearing a lot of stuff. about
They
Pride Plate.
were pretty good, they really couldn't handle our contracts.
Oh, nice.
Well, remember, we're super rare, our custom lots were so many contracts.
You know, that's horrible,
Yes.
especially if they're not.
Yeah, so for something this size, all of them should work.
Mhm.
People love all of them, so. Whatever.
So actually, Dan reminded me, on page 15, we're gonna have to make a different request than that for environmental commission. So, they had wanted, Susan, you might remember this with the chair coming to you. They had wanted 10 this year rather than 5.
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
Okay, and the reason is they're gonna be supplementing the compost program for, you know, the next year. Plus, they've been giving some of that budget over to the green team for the maintenance of the flower beds. So that really can't be cut. We were actually asking for increase, but that, as you know, Susan, that we were looking to do that.
Good question.
It was 5 to go to, she wanted it to go to 10.
Where are you seeing the 5?
Page 15 was the 23 appropriation was 5,000.
Oh, okay.
Page one.
Oh, you're talking about the total.
The total. I don't exactly know like if it goes in other professional fees or supplies and maintenance or something, but we wanted that to go to 10 because the composting program for it to sustain and make sure we don't, if we dip underneath the families and we expand it out. We wanted the buffer for 10.
So not to, I'm not objecting to 10, I just have a question about, you know, is the state, which I should have made it, and then Steve,
For compost. Not offhand, there's these grants that, out one of our young ladies is applying for, like a sustainable New Jersey, and that's like a small grant, and she's applying for it, like, Dorothy's applying for that one. But then, and we use it, yeah, we use that one all the time. Why do we lose? Because of the, economic. So anyway, but that, I just wanted to convey that she wanted to go from 5 to 10 for the
Who's she, Olga?
Olga. And we had, as you see there in last year, and I'm not sure if all those bills came in, but Susan, you probably remember this. They were, you see that, well, that's 3,400 was actually appropriated, but I know that we ended up getting the wood for the flower bed, because
Yeah,
you
the
were always having
1,000.
this issue of you were trying to reimburse individual gardeners, and it was a big nightmare, so you said, let's just,
Yeah, we did.
okay, but so that's the deal. If
Yeah.
we'd like to request 10.
So it's just for the
Go ahead.
compost.
Go ahead.
Well, 10 for the environmental commission, but the environmental commission had paid a purchase order over the companies. Remember Mike was in. So I don't know where you want to put that.
All right, Manu, go ahead.
So, going to something else, the website, there's a website spent for 20,000. Do we know what that's about? Federal. and whether it should go up or down, I mean.
I think that's based on our contract.
Monthly hosting costs,
Yeah,
probably.
that was it, okay. And then, two things. One, the legal services. Every year, it looks like.
What page you on?
Page 10.
Before we go there, is there a consensus to move that, environmental commission in?
I'm happy with it.
Yes.
I think we should,
You don't know.
no, I think in order for me to update the budget document, I have to make sure I don't miss anything. So we're flipping around and I might miss pages and then I won't know if it's been discussed or what.
So how do you want to handle?
I want to just go through, like we used to go
Where
through.
do you want to start? What page do you want to start?
Well, we should start from, page 6. Make sure that you guys are all on the same page.
Page 6, you said?
Yes, but
So I did have a question about, in the increase in salary for the assistant superintendent. This is for the HR duties,
Yes.
and so you're kind of saying that, between you and the assistant to the PA,
Right.
the two of you can handle all of the tasks related to
Yes.
HR function. Now,
This is 30,000.
I saw that there's 5,250 in the HR. Is that, so what is that?
That was because
It's from VA, right?
that was the stipend that was paid.
Right.
But it's still in there.
It has to.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was,
In January,
be. Was-
February.
Yeah,
And it's not continued.
no,
okay.
that's it.
Yeah.
Right, January,
That ended February.
Right.
14th.
Right.
Okay, so I'm fine with page 6. Page 7, I have a question about the grant writing. We have a grant writer. Is this just in there, just in case? Or, I mean, it's specific for the fire department. We already have something on tonight's agenda where. Something. for the
Yeah.
fire department.
What the hell did we do last year for 57,000? In terms of other budget.
There has to be sections. I'd have to drill down on it and see what.
While we're
Page
looking at
7.
grant writing, I don't believe, we don't have, David, like a simple chart that says in 2023, we spent this much money applying for grants, and we got this many grants that were directly related to that. We don't, I don't believe we have that. right?
That's a great, we should
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Was Millennium, was the 20?
Millennium got paid for grants.
Mhm.
We do that on a monthly subscription basis, and then our engineers get some money for grants occasionally.
Not in the engineering budget.
Right, but we still need, we need to know, how much do we spend on grants,
Okay.
and did it result in anything? We know we got grants, we know we spent money, we've never done this side by side.
So I just wasn't sure if like the 12,000.
So I want to get back to you, what was encumbered with that 57,000?
Well, that's one question, and then the other question is the 12,000. Where it includes the increase includes grant writing, 12,000 for the fire.
Yeah, so was that expense in fire by itself or we combined?
Yeah, the fire department requested $12,000 to be added into their department, but I put it into yours.
So that was a
because I
new
think they,
expense.
yeah,
So,
no,
so for sake of, just to throw it out there as an example, right, we got about $150,000 grant for the old swim club, right? Was it about 150 or 160?
Right.
It was 90,000?
87.
And
87.
did Millennium do that grant? No.
don't
No,
think
that's
so.
the county one, that's the one we do in-house,
We did it in-house.
the county one,
Okay,
it's county. owned.
I think the engineer.
so Jimmy did that basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
All right, so I get it, I'll
Yeah.
come back with that information, but you want to see if you're getting any bang for your buck.
Of course. Maybe we should be increasing the grant dollar spend, or maybe we should be decreasing it, but we can't say right now.
Okay,
And I think we should just, and I don't know if this is where Councilman Menon was going, there should just be one bucket of grant money,
Right,
and we use it efficiently, operations management, like one pile is better than having 47 different
Yeah.
piles.
Right, well, I mean, I'm just saying if within the way we operate, we have to do it as separate buckets, that's one thing, but if we can combine them, or if, so-and-so is doing, the grants for everybody else, they can also do it for the fire department.
This is for all departments except for the grants that the engineers write.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
And the engineering one is under
Oh, so,
here.
okay, so this is.
Four grants for fire.
So other professional fees, this 801 line is all grant dollars.
Well, I'd have to see if there's anything else other than grant writing and other professional fees.
Okay, so we're gonna need to know.
So we'll do an audit trail.
Right,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all right.
yeah, we'll run an audit trail and see who's in there.
Okay, so it is all in one,
Well, no, there's grant.
engineering is not.
except for.
Engineer, yeah.
Not to be in
Yeah,
order,
it's coming.
make that one six.
Yeah, that's, we confirmed the other day.
Wait, what is it?
35 is the divisible by 3 plus us 3K per grant. Every time we ask for a grant, it's 3K. That's
So that's what they're charging us?
Okay, we should keep moving because we're running out of time, guys. Anybody have anything on page 8?
That's neat.
Seven's fine, page 8.
Wait, you better all agree to this, because if I write
Yeah, it's
down.
fine, it's fine.
Okay,
Anything on page 8 or 9?
Jake, there was a question about the website expenses, so if you could just,
Okay,
let us know what that is.
anything on 9?
I have a question on that.
Oh, actually, we know what that.
Page 9, question, page 9, question on 9, you have $125,000 in network expenses, so we're talking about $10,000 a month for network expenses.
Yeah, that's the shared services
Board
of
of
the school,
Shared services of the school.
school district. Well, we pay the school district for IT services.
We don't,
Them $10,000 a month for what?
Wi-Fi, email system.
That we have
If
shared
it's too high,
Seems egregiously high, and if you add to it, we also see, and Jamie and I discussed previously, there's an $88,000 number in here for telephone. So that would put you at that over 200,000, or call it 18,000 a month for phones and networks.
Well, and one of the things that we want to look at is the school IT people have a proposal into us. They want us to move from Microsoft to Google. And Google may be a good platform for schools. I'm not so sure it's a good platform for the
I
municipality.
work for the man who invented Google Chrome for classrooms, and who use it at work. It's fabulous for classrooms and abominable.
Oh,
Terrible.
that was my fault.
Well, I literally work for the man that created it.
I'm thinking that,
It's state of your city.
we ought to get to a point where we can evaluate what programs we have on servers that they're maintaining. And the goal to reduce this, I think, is to eliminate servers and go cloud-based with things that we can.
Microsoft.
That equate into $1.
of course.
yeah.
and so directly to your point, I think we did this last year, but please remind me. We did try to see what it would cost if we did it ourselves. It was a lot more than
A lot more.
If you were to have your own.
we
IT
looked at this
department,
last year. But, yeah.
But you can couple it with the phones at 88.
So I would separate that.
Okay, fine.
So the phones, again, in my old company, we got rid of phones altogether.
Mhm.
We did everything through voice over IP. Again, this is the perfect example of back in the 1500s.
Right.
Yes, you used
Well,
the
our problem
telephone.
right now is hosted. So I have to get back to you as to what's being that 80,000.
Right, let's do it again.
I'll take it a step further and say we got rid of phones and we pay employees $30 a month for their use of their cell phone. Can't do it. Government?
You have to be careful.
Okay, okay.
But definitely, everything should just be over the internet. And the price.
Well, the last leg of that
Should
is,
be free.
the last leg of that is going to be Verizon is taking the copper out, so the main number here will go over to, Dwight.
And one thing you could do one to look at is, again, we actually got rid of telephones we didn't have telephones on our desk. You did it all, the headset on your computer, because everybody has a computer.
Absolutely.
That could be where you're paying for 88,000 and you.
But I think we already own the equipment, the SureTel, equipment, so Susan, would you know how old that is?
Paying a monthly fee or leasing or.
I don't really know how old it is.
I guess we need to divide this out.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
It's less than 4.
I think it's less than 4.
Those phones,
Yeah,
less than 4.
less than 40 years? Oh, perhaps.
You got that email about.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we're running out of time, so let's not,
Page 10?
who has a comment on page 10?
So the, legal services, it went from 100 to 110, is that just contractual?
It's because the retainer went up slightly, and so I factored that in. I gave it like,
Now, every year, we've had that, 25, I guess, it's just an anomaly, that was plus building, plus building. But, 100, we were spending 136, 100, we were spending 146, so I'd like to see that, kind of kept down to the 110. I think it'll change in this year, but.
It's like, if there's less problems, legal fees will go
I
down.
think it was dependence.
Right.
I think it was more dependence.
What do you mean?
Of, people.
Oh, I see. Of certain people calling the attorney too much.
So, yeah, I think once that changes, I think.
And there could be
Can't call
some,
the attorney too much.
there could be some control on that, so if the dialogue could go through a central point. And not having a bunch of people make calls that.
Typically what happens is the borough administrator and the mayor try to do the funneling
Mhm.
for the. for the
So you
borough
can sort
attorney.
of keep track. of
Some
it.
questions.
Correct.
do you want me to?
Yeah.
Just so you all know, my contract is such that I either take direction from the group at the dais, or it has to be approved by the administrator or the mayor for me to do something. That's how the contract reads, and phone calls are under retainer, so that's that.
But you track the retainer, so as your bills come in, we're reducing the retainer, so when the retainer runs out, then. There's no additional.
There's items under the retainer, items outside of the retainer. If I get, there's 30 hours now on the retainer, it was adjusted to do it for a certain number of hours versus just back down.
Okay.
If it goes over, I need it.
Okay.
Okay, anything on page 11?
Yeah.
Page 12,
Well, 11, just the question was gonna be to find out why the stormwater was teed out separate. That was.
correct. We got to get more detail from Andy on that.
Just a quick question on engineering fees.
Go ahead.
I assume that everything that we discussed as it relates to engineering fees in, open session, that's cap rate. Is that what these are? These are the engineering fees that are for things we previously.
In other words, so there's two types of engineering fees generally, one for very specific projects,
Mhm.
right? So you're gonna build a building for $300,000, we'll probably have, 9 or 10% of engineering fees for that project, right? Susan, I assume that gets billed to that project.
Right, so
Right.
there's engineering fees, and the first line for other professional fees is where we're recording the grants. The second line is any work that they're doing, like proposals and general engineering.
So what happens is the council will ask her, we need to do X, we have a water problem, we need to solve it. So the engineers have to draw up a plan for that, and it costs X amount of dollars to do that. There's no real project yet, right? So it goes into our general engineering fees. Because it may not come to anything, or it may.
But these are preordained in terms of, we're doing with this money, or is this available to us for those discretionary items of course?
It's available to us, because we don't know what we might be doing exactly 6 months from now.
And then
So
you're
it's
getting
based on this
proposals for separate engagements.
Correct.
Which is a conversation you ought to expand on some.
Apologies for the last question, and why is it that it doubles for 2024? Are we anticipating incremental discretionary project spend for engineering fees? We go from 36 to 70.
Well, you look at this, so you spent 62,000 in
Right.
22 and 62,000 in 23.
So I'm looking at engineering fees at 36 across the board.
So that's appropriated versus the
Ah, yeah,
actual right
okay,
below
thank
it.
you. Yep,
So
okay.
in the last 2 years, you were
Right.
overspending.
So we're budgeting based on the realistic.
Yep.
Right. Page 12. Anything on 13?
Well, traffic, that's the ARP one.
Say that again?
It's not the IR, it's both out separately, but we have a grant coming in to offset. But it would offset this also, offset something else. Okay?
Anything on 13?
And it also.
14,
Something else.
page 15. 16,
I like to clerk with the first of it.
17 or
The
18?
the 15, you'd gotten the request for
Where,
environment.
where are you?
The-
Yes, we got that
Just
one.
because
Yes.
she wanted to make sure she missed.
Right, I'm just asking if you don't have any changes.
What page, John?
On 16 seems very odd that you have a line item called mental health center, very bad look to have a zero here.
No, it's 7,000,
Send it up.
and then the budget
All the
amount.
contractual items, this is all for that.
That,
I think Omar, don't you put that through?
I'm sorry?
package help.
Mental health, I think it's advantage,
Is it Vantage or is it the county?
advantage,
No, that's not the county yet.
Advantage.
yeah,
That's it.
that's good.
All right, 17. And by the way, well, what the, for the two new council members, then who has the floor, so sometimes we have residents with, through various communications, neighbors, family members that just need help. And so we have people we call, whether it's through the senior center, through Vantage, to go out and help people.
So I just want to make sure it wasn't, it looked like a zero to me, that's it.
On 17, the nature center, we're now putting that in under capital, is that open space?
We've been using open space for that, correct?
Correct.
So it's no longer appearing in our operating budget, and the last year it did was the 21.
And that is 50,000 for this year. Number seven.
What did we budget last year?
I think it was 50,000, but that would be discussed when the nature.
When the nature center comes up, right? Okay. We're not making that decision. Okay. Page 18.
So are we okay with the reduction in the stigma rate? based on
Yes.
historical?
That's fine. And then my only question was, because in a few more pages, there is a significant grant. And that was,
And we were gonna look into where we thought.
right, that's all.
What page are we on?
Page 20.
Now,
All right, 20.
We skipped.
we had skipped 19. Yeah, I know that welcome committee requested an increase.
Did they get it?
I think it stayed flat.
This says requested 65, recommended 65, so they asking for an increase of about 65.
Let me,
Welcome Committee does a great job.
no, it's, I remember Roxana saying something about, they did more events and do more printing and stuff, so I could circle back and just ask her.
Let's
the
get back, so
65.
come back to the team with,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
whether
right
they go
now,
with 65 or not.
yeah, right now, it's at the same level as it's been last year, 65.
Okay, okay, let me take care of that.
We gotta keep going because we're running out of time. Page 21,
What is an alliance grant?
Why did that go down?
which one?
What is an alliance grant, municipal alliance?
That's Municipal Alliance, the cap. What page?
21.
That's,
Why'd that go down?
it went down because we had a consortium and we disbanded it and now it's just us. Which we're getting our fair share of what we should be getting.
22. 22, 23, 24,
Hold on, back to 23.
23.
Opioid grant, based on our camp.
Well, actually, I think the police and, someone, I don't know who yet, or David and I will probably have to talk about this. There should be some reporting and decisions made by the governing body on how we're gonna utilize this.
So this reflects, we have an opposite revenue number to reflect this grant number that you feel we're gonna get this year.
Yeah,
So this is really a placeholder because we don't know what we're gonna do with this money.
right, but we have to make a decision because I think some reporting has to be done with this.
So I guess, David, I think that unless I'm mistaken, we need the council and we need guidance as to what can we use that money for? How do you put it towards good use?
So now that we have done it, correctly, might be fun with market rates.
But very 100%, right?
I have.
Can we use it in T-back, right? We just need to have some direction.
Mayor,
I think the issue is we don't know.
well, the education part, but I went to a seminar with it and I think Captain O'Reilly was there too.
Okay,
So somebody has to manage it.
right. Okay, we'll get there. All right, page 24. Same issues, the contractual here, right? All right, page 25. 26. 27. 28 and 29. All right, 31. No questions, 33.
Perfect.
We're done.
There's other sections.
What?
Celebration for public events. there's other
Oh, where?
sections. Yeah,
That's part of administration, where?
yes.
That's not a problem.
What? We're kind of out of time.
That's-
Yeah, planning board and stuff like.
Yeah, for the council meeting.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. Let's do, David, let's take that up first thing Saturday morning.
Okay.
We're not meeting
No.
Saturday.
It's not meeting Saturday. Now, just, like, again, if anyone has any problems with it,
Just ask the question.
just ask the questions. We
We're
don't.
not meeting Saturday.
Yeah, sorry, wrong. I mean, me, I'm wrong. Probably meeting Tuesday. I've got my wrong Saturday.
Especially want to add.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you in person.
That was bad.
Okay, all right. You gonna read it?
I like design.
Okay, we need everybody's attention. We're gonna go into closed session. The clerk needs to read something into the record.
At a meeting of the mayor and council, Borough of Tenafly County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, held on March 5th, 2024. Be resolved in compliance with NJSA 10:4-12, the mayor and council of the Borough of Tenafly are going to executive session to discuss the following matters. A, contract negotiation. PBA, police dispatchers, DPW driver labor. Minutes will be taken of the meeting and released to the public at the time that that matter is resolved.
Have a motion to go into close, please.
So
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.